In a small town, nestled between bustling shops and friendly cafes, there stood an old pet shop called Paws and Whiskers. The store was filled with the cheerful sounds of barking puppies, chirping birds, and the soft rustle of hamsters scurrying in their cages. However, among all this lively chatter, there was one quiet soul who felt out of place. A small gray cat named Whiskers. Whiskers had a delicate frame and big, round green eyes that sparkled when she caught a glimpse of the world outside. All day long, she would sit on her tiny shelf in a cozy corner of the shop, watching as customers came and went. Each time someone walked in, she would perk up her ears and hope for a kind glance or a gentle touch. But Whiskers wasn't like the other animals. She was shy and timid. The other pets in the shop were lively and eager for attention. A rowdy puppy named Max would bark excitedly whenever someone approached, while Bella, the fluffy golden retriever, would wag her tail so hard that it seemed like she might take flight. Even the playful kittens tumbled over each other in their quest for love and cuddles. They attracted families with children who laughed and pointed at their antics. Whiskers watched from her perch, feeling as though she was invisible every evening. When the shop closed and the lights dimmed, a deep loneliness settled over her. The laughter of families echoed in her mind as she curled up on her shelf. She longed for a warm lap to curl up in and a gentle hand to stroke her as nights turned into weeks. Whiskers' heart grew heavier with each passing day. One afternoon, when the sun streamed through the large window at the front of the shop, an elderly lady walked in to look at pets. Whiskers raised her head hopefully as the lady approached her shelf. But instead of stopping to say hello, she pointed toward Max and Bella while laughing at their playful behavior. "Oh, look at those two. They're just perfect," she exclaimed to her friend as they walked away with Max and Bella. Whiskers felt another wave of sadness wash over her. She sighed softly, curling into a ball once more. Why couldn't anyone see how special she was? If only they could look beyond her shyness. Days turned into weeks as Whiskers continued to wait patiently for someone to take notice. Each time someone came into Paws and Whiskers, she would muster all her courage to look adorable. She would stretch out on her shelf or bat at a dangling toy. Yet time after time, people overlooked her in favor of more boisterous pets. One rainy evening, as dark clouds rolled overhead and raindrops tapped against the glass windows, things took an unexpected turn. The pet shop owner, Mr. Jenkins, had grown frustrated with Whiskers' lack of interest from customers. "You're such a shy little thing," he muttered as he cleaned up around her shelf. His voice was kind but edged with disappointment. With rain pouring down outside, Mr. Jenkins made a sudden decision that shocked Whiskers more than anything else ever had. He announced that he could no longer keep her in the shop if no one wanted to adopt her. "It's best if you find another home," he said sadly while packing away some toys and treats into a box. Whiskers felt a knot form in her stomach as she realized what this meant. The only home she'd ever known, the place where she'd spent countless days dreaming of love, was about to be taken from her. That moment shattered whatever hope remained in her little heart. With no other choice left for him, Mr. Jenkins opened the door to let Whiskers out into the rain-soaked world beyond Paws and Whiskers. She stepped outside for the first time ever alone. Cold droplets fell onto her fur, making her shiver. The streets were empty. Everyone was indoors sheltering from the downpour. It felt like being cast adrift in an ocean without land in sight. A stark contrast to the comfort of the pet shop where she'd always felt secure. Whiskers wandered aimlessly through puddles that mirrored stormy skies above until she found refuge under a park bench near the pet shop entrance. There she curled up tightly against herself to escape the chill and pondered what would happen next. Though scared and alone now in this new world outside of Paws and Whiskers, something inside began to stir within her. A flicker of resilience sparked by determination not to give up hope entirely as night began to fall over the town like a blanket blocking out any warmth left from earlier that day. Whiskers heard faint sounds around her, voices filled with kindness from passers-by, who noticed her tucked away under the bench. They offered bits of food here and there as they admired her gentle demeanor despite being drenched from head to tail. And even though it was far from what she had imagined for herself, a loving home filled with laughter, it was comforting enough that perhaps tomorrow would bring something different. Something better than today had held for this lonely little cat named Whiskers. As Whiskers sat curled up under the park bench, She tried to make sense of the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. Leaving the cozy pet shop that had been her home was like losing a part of herself. She felt small and lost in this vast, rainy world, far from the familiar sounds of playful pets and the gentle hum of Mr. Jenkins' voice. The rain continued to fall steadily, forming little puddles that mirrored the gray skies above. Whiskers watched as droplets danced on the pavement, but she felt too heavy-hearted to join in their play. Her mind drifted back to that fateful day when Mr. Jenkins had made his decision. She recalled how he had sighed heavily, rubbing his temples as if he were tired of seeing her sit quietly on her shelf while other pets leaped and barked for attention. "Maybe it's for the best," he had whispered sadly, but those words had stung deeply in Whiskers' heart. Did she really deserve to be kicked out just because she wasn't as outgoing as Max and Bella? The thought made her feel even more alone. Wandering through the streets felt strange and overwhelming. The sounds of the town were different from those at Paws and Whiskers. Instead of laughter and barks, there were honking cars and distant voices. Talking loudly, Whiskers tucked her tail close against her body as she stepped gingerly over cracks in the sidewalk. Wary of everything around her with nowhere to go, she took a few tentative steps forward, glancing at the passing humans who barely seemed to notice her plight. That a few children giggled and pointed at a dog chasing after a stick nearby while their parents laughed along. Whiskers couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy as she remembered how she would watch families come into the shop, looking for a pet to love, wishing they could see past her shyness to recognize how special she could be. As she wandered deeper into town, her stomach growled loudly, reminding her that finding food would be just as important as finding a safe place to rest. She spotted a small cafe with outdoor tables where people enjoyed steaming cups of coffee and pastries. The enticing smells wafting through the air made her mouth water, but she was nervous about approaching anyone. Just then, an elderly woman, sitting alone at a table, noticed Whiskers watching expectantly from afar. With kind eyes and a warm smile, she waved gently at the shy cat. "Oh dear! Come here, little one." The woman's voice was soothing. It drew Whiskers closer despite her hesitation. Whiskers crept forward cautiously but kept glancing back at the busy street behind her. The woman reached into her bag and pulled out a small piece of bread, holding it out toward Whiskers with an encouraging nod. "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." After taking another moment to observe this friendly stranger, Whiskers finally approached and sniffed curiously at the offered treat before nibbling on it gratefully. It tasted delightful against her hungry belly. For just a moment, all feelings of sadness faded away. Warmth filled her heart as she realized not everyone would ignore or overlook her. "Such a sweet girl," said the woman softly as Whiskers devoured every crumb. "I can tell you've been through quite a lot today." Whiskers looked up into the woman's eyes and felt something spark in her heart. A flicker of hope that perhaps there was still kindness left in this new world outside Paws and Whiskers. After finishing the bread, Whiskers hesitated before leaving. Part of her wanted to stay near this kind lady who showed such compassion when so many others had turned away. But she knew deep down that staying might only prolong this feeling of confusion. Where would she truly belong now? With gratitude bubbling inside her for both food and comfort received thus far, Whiskers bid goodbye with one last glance back before stepping away from the cafe's inviting aroma as evening settled over the town once again like a thick blanket wrapped tightly around everything around. Whiskers wandered further down unfamiliar streets filled with shadows cast by flickering streetlights. Each step felt heavier than before. Uncertainty loomed larger than life itself. Finding herself lost amidst tall buildings towering over head made matters worse. They loomed intimidatingly above while all she wanted was somewhere safe to curl up and dream without worry gnawing at every corner of her mind. While crossing yet another street lined with shops displaying colorful window displays promising happiness inside, she stumbled upon an alley sheltered from prying eyes where stray cats lounged lazily atop cardboard boxes stacked haphazardly against brick walls. Though apprehensive at first glance, the sight brought forth memories reminiscent of home which tugged gently at something deep within. The need for companionship ignited curiosity within, making it impossible not to approach them cautiously, despite reservations lingering still. "Hey there," called out one orange tabby lounging lazily on top of its perch. He stretched widely before blinking lazily down upon Whiskers with interest sparkling within his eyes like tiny stars twinkling through an endless night sky. "I'm just looking for somewhere warm," replied Whiskers hesitantly while lowering herself timidly beside him on another box nearby. the warmth seeping into bones long chilled by damp air enveloping surroundings ever since. Leaving behind what felt so familiar only hours ago, now fading quickly into distance behind fading memories. And though uncertainty remained thick in air surrounding every breath taken, something about being here among these other cats began easing burdens carried silently since departure earlier today, making room for possibility blooming beneath relentless hope still beating softly deep within fragile heart longing evermore. Whiskers settled under the park bench, feeling the dampness of the ground beneath her. The rain had eased into a gentle drizzle, and while it made the air cool and fresh, it also reminded her of how alone she felt. She curled up tightly, tucking her tail around her body for warmth, and closed her eyes. The sounds of the town continued around her. Laughter from nearby children, the chatter of adults, and the occasional bark of a dog, but they felt distant, like echoes of a world where she no longer belonged. As time passed, Whiskers began to feel a little braver. Maybe being outside all alone wasn't so scary after all. Perhaps it could offer new opportunities. Just then, she heard soft footsteps approaching. Peeking out from beneath the bench, she saw a boy around 10 years old with tousled hair and bright eyes. He was walking with his mother, who held a paper bag in her hand. "Look, Mom! There's a cat!" the boy exclaimed excitedly, pointing at Whiskers. "Ah, sweetie. I think she's just trying to stay dry," his mother replied with a smile. "Cats can be so shy sometimes." Whiskers felt a flicker of hope as the boy knelt down closer to her. "Hey there, kitty," he said softly, reaching out his hands slowly. She hesitated but couldn't resist inching forward just a little bit. The boy's gentle voice soothed her nerves. In that moment, the mother reached into the paper bag and pulled out a small piece of cheese. "Do you think she would like some?" she asked her son. "Yes, cats love cheese," he grinned widely. With cautious curiosity, Whiskers watched as the boy placed the cheese on the ground just in front of him. "Come on, little one," he urged gently. "It's okay." After a few moments of hesitation, her instincts still wary, Whiskers took a step forward and sniffed at the offered treat. It smelled delicious. With her stomach growling again, she quickly grabbed the cheese and devoured it in one bite. "See? She likes it!" the boy cheered, clapping his hands together in delight. Whiskers felt warmth spread through her as she realized that not everyone would turn away from her shyness. She looked up at the boy and his mother, who were both now smiling down at her with kind expressions. The affection radiating from them warmed her heart more than any sunny spot ever could. "Maybe we should bring some more treats next time," the mother suggested as they prepared to leave. "This little one looks like she could use some help." The boy nodded eagerly, giving Whiskers one last wave goodbye before heading off with his mother. As they walked away, Whiskers remained under the bench feeling lighter than before. This moment of kindness had sparked something inside her. Hope. As dusk approached and shadows grew longer across the park, Whiskers decided that maybe staying under this bench wouldn't be so bad after all. The gentle trickle of rain had stopped completely now, leaving behind a crisp freshness in the air that made everything feel alive again, with nightfall creeping in slowly but surely like a cozy blanket wrapping around everything around her. Whiskers found herself drifting off to sleep when suddenly she heard another sound approaching. This time it was a group of teenagers nearby laughing and chatting as they walked past. "Look, a cat!" one girl exclaimed as they spotted her curled up beneath the bench. "Ah, poor thing! She looks so cozy." Another chimed in while crouching down beside Whiskers. Before she knew it, Whiskers was receiving more attention. The teenagers didn't hesitate to reach out toward her with soft voices urging her to come closer for cuddles and pets. At first, she felt uncertain again, but their excitement seemed genuine, making it hard to resist their friendly smiles. One boy pulled out his backpack and rummaged around inside before producing a small bag of cat treats. "I brought these from home. Let's give her some." With careful hands, he extended a few treats toward Whiskers while his friends cheered him on. Feeling curious yet again, maybe tonight would bring even more joy than before, she padded closer to them cautiously. Each treat tasted heavenly against her tongue as laughter filled the air, and everyone took turns petting her head softly while whispering sweet words of encouragement about how beautiful she was. For those brief moments under that park bench surrounded by warmth and laughter, Whiskers' heart soared higher than it had in what felt like ages. Perhaps this was meant to be. Finding little pockets of kindness amidst confusion after all. As time moved along slowly toward twilight, the stars began twinkling above against darkening skies. They eventually bid farewell with promises to return soon, and Whiskers felt satisfied knowing there were still friendly strangers out there willing to show compassion even when life seemed difficult. Once again left alone beneath the park bench, she snuggled up, tight against herself, reflecting on how even amid loss, light can shine through unexpectedly when least expected, reminding her that despite everything changing there was always room for more love waiting just around every corner if only one remained open enough to receive it. Meanwhile, in a luxurious mansion located on the outskirts of town, Mr. Thompson sat in his grand living room, deep in thought. The walls around him were adorned with priceless art, and elegant chandeliers cast a warm glow. Over the plush furnishings, a glass of fine wine rested on the ornate table beside him, but his heart felt empty despite the lavish surroundings. Mr. Thompson was a billionaire known for his successful business ventures, but wealth and luxury had not brought him the happiness he once hoped for. His days were filled with meetings and obligations, but at night, loneliness crept into his heart like an unwelcome guest. You see, after losing his beloved dog years ago, his home felt eerily quiet without the joyful presence of a pet. He missed the way his dog would greet him at the door after a long day, tail wagging and eyes gleaming with affection. "I need a friend," he muttered to himself, staring out at the sprawling garden outside his large window. The flowers were vibrant, and the trees swayed in the gentle breeze, but without a loyal companion by his side, the beauty felt hollow. What he truly desired was more than just an extravagant life. He needed someone to share it with, a special pet that could bring joy back into his world. Feeling determined to change this part of his life, Mr. Thompson decided to visit local pet shops. Perhaps he would find that unique pet to fill the gap in his heart. A furry friend that would offer love and companionship. He remembered stories he had heard of animals with extraordinary personalities, those who formed deep bonds with their owners. As he drove through town in his sleek Rolls-Royce, people couldn't help but gaze in awe at the polished luxury vehicle that it glimmered under the midday sun, reflecting light like a beacon of wealth as he pulled up to Paws and Whiskers. Stepping out, Mr. Thompson adjusted his tailored suit and fixed his tie. He looked every bit the part of a successful businessman. Entering the pet shop, he immediately noticed the lively atmosphere. The sounds of excited barks and playful meows filled the air along with affectionate greetings from staff members. However, he quickly realized it wasn't the type of place he was searching for. Laughter bubbled around as families played with puppies and kittens, but Mr. Thompson longed for something more profound, something that tugged at his heartstrings. "Excuse me," he called out to a friendly staff member who approached him with a smile. "I'm looking for a special pet, the kind that can really bond with me." The employee nodded thoughtfully and began leading him through various sections filled with playful pups and fluffy kittens. As Mr. Thompson watched them interact with customers, he found himself appreciating their charm, yet none seemed to capture his heart quite yet. After browsing through several animals that jumped and rushed around enthusiastically, each more playful than the last, he paused in front of a small room labeled "Shy Animals." The sign piqued his interest. Perhaps this was where he might find that connection he so desperately sought. Pushing open the door gently, Mr. Thompson was met with silence. An intriguing contrast to the lively atmosphere outside. This room contained a few anxious creatures hanging back from their cages, as if awaiting someone to notice their hidden spirits. Within there in the corner by herself was Whiskers, curled up tightly on her shelf and unaware that someone was watching her. Unlike other animals she had seen earlier tugging at attention and seeking affection eagerly, she looked fragile yet wise beyond her years. Her big green eyes held emotion captured behind shyness. Mr. Thompson couldn't help but feel drawn toward her quiet presence. Perhaps this little cat was what he had been looking for all along. Someone special to share life's quieter moments with. Kneeling down to her level, he softly spoke, "Hey there, little one." Whiskers perked up at his gentle tone and glanced cautiously in his direction. As their eyes met, something magical happened. He saw warmth flicker within her gaze as if they were both recognizing something deep inside one another. It was a moment filled with understanding, which made him feel a connection he hadn't experienced in years. "Would you like to come home with me?" he asked quietly. That instant, Mr. Thompson knew she was different from any other pet he had encountered thus far. Her Shyness spoke volumes about her character, and instead of merely wanting attention or playtime, it felt as if Whiskers held within her an emotional depth ready for exploration when trust was gained. Instead of competition among playful pets drawing customers in, the quiet resilience shown by this little gray cat captivated him completely. A soft flicker of hope burst alive within him again, as if awakening part of himself forgotten ever since losing his beloved furry companion so long ago. Whiskers gazed back at him, slowly opening her heart just a fraction more than before. Perhaps this encounter would be exactly what they both needed after all. It felt like fate had orchestrated something beautiful amidst loneliness. A chance for companionship waiting right there under one shared roof, merging two unlikely worlds together. The next morning, Mr. Thompson awoke with renewed determination. He sat at his grand breakfast table, the sun filtering through the large windows to cast soft light on the fine china and silver cutlery set before him. Yet, despite the opulent setting, he couldn't shake off an empty feeling inside. Memories of lonely nights lingered in his mind, haunting him with their silence and solitude. His thoughts returned to Whiskers, the shy cat he had encountered just the day before at Paws and Whiskers. Her big green eyes had seemed to hold a universe of thoughts and feelings within them. He remembered how her timid demeanor captured his heart. Maybe she was exactly what he needed. A gentle companion who understood the weight of loneliness in a way that few others could. Sipping his coffee thoughtfully, Mr. Thompson pondered how their personalities might blend, his quiet strength contrasting nicely with her delicate nature. He realized that he didn't just want any pet. He wanted one that resonated with him on a deeper level, someone who could offer unspoken connection amidst life's chaos, with decisiveness glimmering in his keen eyes. He set down his cup and dressed quickly in a tailored navy suit. He felt hopeful as he climbed into his Rolls Royce, excitement bubbling beneath the surface at the thought of returning to the pet shop where it all began as the engine purred to life and rolled smoothly down the street. He found himself reflecting on what drew him toward Whiskers, the way she seemed different from all the other animals at the shop who eagerly chased after attention. Arriving at Paws and Whiskers, Mr. Thompson noted how vibrant and lively it still felt in stark contrast to yesterday's emotional weightiness. Enthusiastic barks filled the air again, along with cheerful laughter as families came together to meet potential furry companions. But his focus remained fixed on that special room labeled Shy Animals. Entering that sanctuary of anxious souls awakened profound empathy within him, a desire not only to adopt a pet but also to provide loving care for those overlooked by others. He stepped inside with purpose to learn more about Whiskers' story. "Welcome back," greeted a staff member who recognized him immediately from yesterday's visit. "Did you find what you were looking for?" With conviction in his voice, Mr. Thompson replied, "I believe I did, actually." The employee's eyes widened with curiosity as they began walking towards the very corner where Whiskers had been curled up in need of companionship just yesterday. "I was interested in learning more about this little gray cat," he continued earnestly. "Yes, Whiskers is such a sweetheart," she said fondly. "Unfortunately, she has been here longer than most. She's quite shy and prefers quieter surroundings over all this excitement." Mr. Thompson nodded. Her words only reinforced what had drawn him toward her from the start. He needed someone like Whiskers, not just any feline pet, but one capable of sharing moments filled with understanding rather than demanding constant fuss or play. "And why hasn't anyone adopted her yet?" he asked gently. "Many come through looking for playful pets to join their families," she explained gently. "Adopters often overlook those who seem timid or need extra patience." As she spoke about Whiskers, her initial arrival at the shop and how people had passed her by without recognizing her uniqueness, Mr. Thompson felt a surge of protectiveness within him. He remembered how quiet moments spent together could create bonds steeped in love. Encountering a kindred spirit like this delicate cat could mend parts of him long broken by loss. "I want to adopt her," he said confidently while swallowing back emotion that surged up unexpectedly. "Are you sure?" The staff member looked surprised yet pleased by his decision. Perhaps no one expected someone like Mr. Thompson would seek out the shyest animal available when so many lively options lay before them. "Yes," came his resolute reply, infused with strength gained from understanding their shared journey ahead, that neither Whiskers nor himself would have everything figured out instantly. They both carried wounds needing time for healing, while learning together along peaceful evenings shared under soft Starlit skies, nearby blooming flowers swaying harmoniously outside their window. If fate truly meant for them to be connected somehow. As paperwork was arranged for adoption, the moment felt surreal as heavy burdens began lifting slowly yet persistently off both individual lives entwined, now finding solace within mutual support brought forth through this essential friendship, awaiting vibrant beginnings fueled by freshly ignited hope burgeoning anew amid lingering uncertainties. Provided chances. Born out of chance encounters molded into reality filled with unexpected promise blossoming upon closer observation giving rise henceforth. A new life written yet unwritten waiting just beyond horizons daring enough value love above lavish possessions alone tremendously destined if only one gave room to embrace it fully. As Mr. Thompson stood in the quiet corner of the pet shop, he couldn't help but feel a wave of empathy wash over him as he listened to the employee describe Whisker's story. Each word she spoke painted a vivid picture of the shy gray cat's struggles, making his heart ache. The thought of Whiskers being kicked out of the pet shop because she was too timid hit him hard. For a moment, the bustling sounds of laughter and barks from the other animals faded away, leaving only the weight of her situation hanging in the air. When she was released outside, it was like a part of her life was taken from her. The employee said gently, her eyes filling with compassion. Whiskers didn't understand what was happening. She only knew that she had been left behind. Mr. Thompson felt a sharp pang in his chest. Having experienced loss himself after losing his devoted dog, he could relate to the feelings of abandonment that Whiskers must have faced. It hurt to think about how lonely and scared she must feel, especially in a world so big and unpredictable. How could anyone overlook her? He questioned quietly, unable to mask the protective tone lacing his voice. She has so much potential to love and be loved. He felt an emotional connection stirring deep within him. It was as though their paths were intertwined by similar experiences of sorrow and longing for companionship. Observing Whisker's shyness from afar turned his feelings into determination. Mr. Thompson recognized that she was not just any animal wandering aimlessly. She was a fragile spirit with untapped affection waiting to blossom once given a chance. Rather than avoid her timid nature, he felt driven to embrace it. Maybe they could heal each other. That very moment marked a turning point for him. A resolution had formed in his heart. I want to ensure that she never experiences that isolation again, he declared firmly, his tone rising as he faced the staff member once more. I want to adopt Whiskers. The employee looked surprised yet relieved at his declaration. Seeing someone like Mr. Thompson, with wealth and stature, noticing a shy cat who had gone unnoticed for so long was unexpected. Are you sure? It's going to take patience and understanding. I'm certain, he reiterated, feeling an undeniable surge of protectiveness toward this delicate creature. I may not know everything about cats, but I understand what it means to feel lonely and disconnected. His determination ignited a new flame inside him, the thought that by rescuing Whiskers, he could offer her the loving home where she would never again have to face life alone. Just as important was the possibility that she would help fill the void left by his lost companion. The prospect of nurturing Whiskers felt like a second chance for both of them, a bridge crossing over shared loneliness, allowing deeper connections to flourish. As Mr. Thompson filled out the adoption paperwork, he envisioned all that awaited them ahead. Quiet evenings spent curled up together, the soft purring of Whiskers comforting him after a long day, walks through lush gardens where they could explore the beauty of nature side by side, and mornings filled with laughter over breakfast as Whiskers playfully crept up for affection. We'll learn together, he promised softly, imagining a world where their bond would grow stronger every day given time and trust. If Whiskers could just understand that he wanted nothing more than to give her warmth and love, he knew she would eventually reveal the wonderful spirit held within. Once the papers were signed and official, Mr. Thompson felt as if he were preparing to embark on a beautiful new adventure alongside Whiskers, one filled with healing and understanding. As they left the pet shop together, the sun broke through the clouds overhead, casting golden rays across their path as if nature herself were welcoming their union. Holding Whiskers gently in his arms, he marveled at how this unexpected encounter had illuminated pathways they both needed to journey down. A partnership forming against all odds, each determined to face new horizons no longer confined by loneliness, but instead embraced by love that flourished through shared experiences. I end that moment of leaving Paws and Whiskers. They stepped forward into a world brimming with possibilities waiting just beyond their reach. A chance at healing gained not through lavish luxury but rather through simple acts of kindness bridging fractured hearts together anew. Life beckoned them both now. Two souls intertwining on a journey toward companionship stronger than any riches could ever buy, where hope bloomed brightly amidst uncertainty, thriving thereafter hand in paw, with a heart full of purpose. Mr. Thompson slid into the plush leather seat of his Rolls-Royce, the soft hum of the engine a comforting sound as he prepared to embark on his quest to find Whiskers. The sleek exterior gleamed under the bright sun, reflecting the shimmering lights of the town as he drove through familiar streets towards the park where he hoped to find her nestled under the benches. He navigated the roads lined with blooming flowers and cheerful houses. He could hear the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. The contrast between his luxurious vehicle and the quiet neighborhood sparked a unique sense of humility within him, a reminder that true wealth wasn't solely defined by material possessions but rather by the connections and relationships we nurture. Mr. Thompson's mind raced with thoughts of Whiskers, imagining her small figure curled up, waiting for someone to notice her. He understood firsthand how heartbreaking it could be to feel invisible and alone, especially after having faced such emotions himself for so long. With each turn of the wheel, determination surged deeper within him, filling every cell of his being as he focused on making her feel safe and loved. A promise he intended to keep. Arriving at the park, Mr. Thompson parked his Rolls-Royce on the edge, ensuring it wouldn't overshadow the serenity of this lush green space where children played and families gathered. He took a moment to admire the vibrant scenery before stepping out of the car, smoothing down his tailored suit, a symbol of both his success and his intention to use it for good. The moment he stepped onto the pathway leading into the park, he felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him, memories of his beloved dog. Rushing joyfully through similar grassy patches throbbed in the back of his mind. However, instead of sadness, he felt hope rising again. This time, it wasn't just about remembering what he had lost but embracing what could be gained through this new connection with Whiskers. As he strolled through the park, he passed families enjoying picnics and couples whispering sweet nothings to each other. The sounds of laughter filled the air, yet amidst all the noise, he found himself focusing on one goal: searching for Whiskers and bringing her home. Eventually reaching the park bench where she had made her temporary refuge, Mr. Thompson stopped and scanned the area, seeking out her familiar gray fur. Time seemed to slow as anticipation curdled in his stomach. What if she wasn't there? What if she had moved on from this place? This safe corner that once provided respite from a world too loud for her. His heart raced at the thought of losing her chance for happiness once more, but then he spotted it. A slight rustle beneath the bench caught his eye as he crouched down carefully and peered under, where shadows danced softly amid patches of sunlight filtering through leaves above. There she was. Whiskers lay curled tightly in the safety of the warm shadows cast by the bench, her big green eyes shimmering like emeralds as they met his gaze. A rush of relief washed over him at that sight. It was as if all thoughts of loneliness dissipated with just one glance exchanged between them. "Hey there, little one," he murmured gently, careful not to frighten her. "I've come to get you." Whiskers blinked slowly in return, her timid demeanor evident. Initially hesitant but now aroused by curiosity as she inched slightly forward into the light spilling onto the pavement, he pulled out a small treat from his jacket pocket. A gesture reminiscent of earlier encounters with pets, but this was different. This time it symbolized hope rather than mere indulgence. "I know you've been through so much," he said softly before offering her the treat. "But I promise you won't have to face anything alone ever again." With careful and deliberate movements, Mr. Thompson extended his hand, hoping she would trust enough to take another step forward. It took a few moments filled with silence that seemed to stretch infinitely before Whiskers finally took a small leap toward him, the sweetest trust forming in that gradual movement. When she gently nibbled at the treat from his palm, he felt an overwhelming surge of warmth pulse through him, right there amid bustling life surrounding them. They had become two unlikely souls connected by shared experiences, seeking solace in companionship. "Let's go home," Mr. Thompson said gently as he reached down to scoop Whiskers up softly into his arms, the cat's delicate weight feeling perfect against him as reassurance settled pleasantly in place. They would embark upon an adventure that neither had anticipated but desperately needed. each finding healing through love nurtured and grown at their own pace in an open embrace filled with kindness as they walked back toward the Rolls-Royce together. A picture of elegance accompanying newfound companionship. Mr. Thompson couldn't help but smile at how fate had intertwined their lives in such a meaningful way, journeying forward hand in paw toward all possibilities awaiting them ahead. As Mr. Thompson gently crouched beside the park bench, a rush of emotions flooded through him when he finally laid eyes on Whiskers. There she was, curled up tightly in the warm shadows, her big green eyes shimmering like precious emeralds. Against her gray FUR.IN that moment, time seemed to stand still, and all the noise of the bustling park faded away as their gazes locked together. "Hey there, little one," he whispered softly, his voice barely above a gentle murmur. The tenderness in his tone aimed to soothe her rather than startle her. As he understood how fragile she must feel after everything she had been through, Whiskers blinked slowly at him, hesitating for just a moment before curiosity edged her forward slightly. It was a small movement, but to Mr. Thompson's heart, it felt monumental. It was an invitation of trust from a cat who had once known the warmth of companionship but had since endured too much loneliness and confusion. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small treat, hoping it would be enough to coax her into approaching him further. "I have something special for you," he said quietly, extending his hand with the treat resting in his palm. "You've been through so much. I promise I will take care of you now." For several heartbeats filled with anticipation and silence, they remained locked in this tender exchange. Two souls recognizing the need for understanding and affection amidst their shared feelings of loss. Finally gathering courage, Whiskers took a cautious step closer until she ventured forward to investigate the delicious offer. When her delicate little nose brushed against his hand and she gently nibbled at the treat, Mr. Thompson felt an overwhelming sense of warmth wash over him, an indescribable connection forming between them in that simple act of kindness, in that fleeting moment where their worlds began to converge again after so long apart. It was like two pieces of a puzzle fitting together perfectly. "There you go." He smiled brightly as Whiskers savored the treat in small bites. Witnessing her trust blossom invited delight into even the deepest corners of his heart that had long been shrouded by sorrow. Carefully kneeling warmer on the ground beside her now fully engaged spirit captured within those twinkling emerald pools looking up at him, Mr. Thompson allowed love to flow freely between them while reaching out once more, this time intending not only reassurance but tactile comfort too, gingerly lifting Whiskers into his arms. The lightness felt comforting yet real despite their differences. He cradled her close against him, as if sharing not just physical space but also emotional gravity pulling them nearer toward hope. The world around fell further away as if cocooning both within genuine warmth. Their new journey unfolding alongside burgeoning friendship ahead promised brighter tomorrows than either dared dream existed prior. "Let's go home," he murmured with tenderness rippling through each hopeful word spoken softly against Whiskers' furry cheek nestled safely close by now. They embarked on this new adventure together hand in paw, united firmly moving fast towards what destiny held. Waiting beneath sun-kissed skies as they walked back toward the Rolls-Royce parked nearby. A picture of elegance accompanied by newfound companionship. Mr. Thompson could hardly contain his smile, reflecting immense gratitude for finding this shy little cat who had captured his heart almost instantly. It felt remarkable how fate had intertwined their lives amid serendipitous encounters, leading them both closer toward possibilities filled with joy they never expected. The lush park echoed softly around them while laughter-filled air echoing sweetly engaging moments now framed beautifully etched against memories. A reminder love truly flourished regardless of past experiences, waiting patiently beneath every layer hiding potential held hostage, until met by kindred spirits yearning connection longing desperately without end thereafter. With every step counted forward together, they forged paths arising anew, exploring opportunities awaiting at horizon's edge, turning dreams once sealed behind walls fortified strong, finally released, becoming reality, blooming bright, lighting way forth forevermore, promising hope eternally nourished amid shared growth henceforth onward together. As the days turned into weeks, Whiskers settled into her new life in Mr. Thompson's luxurious home, and it began to feel remarkably different from the cold reality she had known. The mansion, with its elegant furnishings and soft colors, embraced her in a way that felt warm and welcoming. It was more than just a house. It was a sanctuary for both of them. a space where healing and love could flourish. Whiskers explored every nook and cranny of her new home, her initial hesitation quickly melting away with each adventure. She discovered sun-drenched windowsills that invited her to lounge lazily in the warmth while watching birds flit playfully outside, and plush rugs that cushioned her steps as she padded softly through the hallways. Each room held unique wonders to explore, but it was the cozy ones that felt safe and snug that she gravitated toward most. Every evening, Mr. Thompson would gently call her name as he prepared dinner. "Whiskers," he would say with a soft smile, his voice full of affection. "Come help me in the kitchen." The sound of his voice brought comfort. It signaled not only food but also companionship and shared moments. First, Whiskers stayed a little shy, observing from afar while perched on one of the kitchen counters, her gaze intent on the delicious smells wafting from the stove. Slowly but surely, her curiosity led her closer. She watched as Mr. Thompson chopped vegetables or sautéed proteins, and when he caught her eye, a playful smile crept onto his face. "If you sit close enough, maybe I'll drop a little something for you," he teased one day, with courage swelling inside her. Whiskers leaped down from her comfortable perch and ventured closer to Mr. Thompson. He chuckled softly at her approach, dropping a tiny piece of chicken onto the floor. She hesitated for just a moment, then dashed forward to claim her prize. In that small act, a new bond solidified between them, trust weaving tightly around their hearts. Beyond the kitchen adventures filled with culinary delights, there were quiet evenings spent cocooned together on the plush couch. Mr. Thompson would read aloud while Whiskers nestled beside him, relishing the serenity that blanketed the room. The sound of his warm voice intertwined with gentle page-turning became a soothing lullaby for her. Melodies of life returning to fill voids long unacknowledged. In the mornings, they would explore the sprawling gardens that surrounded the mansion as the sun began to rise. Whiskers reveled in the soft grass beneath her paws while butterflies danced around them in bright colors. Mr. Thompson walked at a leisurely pace, taking in the blooming flowers and enjoying precious time spent with his new companion. "Look at those daisies over there," he'd say, pointing at the vibrant blossoms bursting forth in brilliant white and yellow hues. "They remind me of spring." Whiskers would gaze up at him, understanding that this wasn't just about exploring nature. It was about discovering happiness together in ways neither believed possible before. As time passed, Whiskers became less shy and more confident. She would greet Mr. Thompson at the door when he returned home from work and follow him from room to room, reveling in the safety that enveloped their lives now, an assurance that came easily amid love blooming fully all around them. Once distant shadows of loneliness faded significantly from both their minds, from feeling like misplaced souls desperately searching for connections. They found immense solace bonded within shared laughter and playful moments instead. Each day melded together as if shaping into an exquisite tapestry crafted by fate designed just for them. Two hearts transforming brokenness into beauty over time. On those quiet evenings, when the moon hung high against star-studded skies, Mr. Thompson would reflect on how much everything has changed since Whiskers entered his life. He lost so much already but gained even more when they found each other, no longer existing solely within confines created by grief, but rather exploring new horizons nurtured through hope, lovingly offered in gentle gestures exchanged over time between kindred spirits craving each other's warmth. As Whiskers purred contentedly beside him on those peaceful nights spent enveloped within each other's presence, the world outside seemed distant yet vibrant still, fueled by transformation sustained collectively as they ventured forth experiencing everything life had yet to offer. In their beautiful mansion filled with laughter and love, it was clear that Whiskers had finally found what she had always yearned for: comfort, happiness, and a place to truly call home, with Mr. Thompson forever by her side promising endless adventures filled with kindness awaiting beyond every sunrise to embrace.